I opened my dream restaurant and invited my entire family to the grand opening. Not one of them showed up. They all went to Ezra's promotion party instead, a backyard barbecue with plastic chairs and lukewarm beer, while I stood in a candlelit dining room, waiting. And as I closed up alone, wiping down untouched tables and folding napkins no one used, Dad finally texted, "We need to discuss the restaurant. My name is Juliet Martin, I'm 34. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What do you do when the people you fed your dreams to show up only when there's something left to eat?" The kitchen still smelled like garlic and rosemary. The handwritten menu cards I spent hours on were all still stacked neatly at the host's stand. And the playlist, the one I made from songs that reminded me of my childhood, kept looping on empty speakers. I stared at my phone. No calls. No, sorry, we're running late. No flowers. Not even from Mom. Just Ezra's Instagram story. Promotion party vibes, bottle with popping cork. My entire family in the background. Laughing.
Dancing.
Holding a cake that said, "To bigger things." I'd built something from scratch. They didn't just miss it, they ignored it. So when Dad texted, I didn't ask what he wanted to discuss. I knew. He was worried about the money he assumed he'd get. The family tab. The unspoken discount he thought he'd earned just by sharing my last name. I stared at the screen for a moment, then typed one sentence that would rewrite the rules forever. Effective immediately. The restaurant is closed to all family, no reservations, no discounts, no exceptions. And 20 minutes later, my phone lit up. 19 missed calls. And one knock at the back kitchen door. It was Ezra at the door. Of course it was. He stood there in his tailored blazer, smelling like too much cologne and not enough guilt. In his hand, a box of leftover cake. "Figured you'd want a slice," he said, trying to smile like nothing had happened. I didn't answer. Didn't move. "Look, Jules. We didn't think the opening was that big of a deal. Dad said it was just soft launch vibes." I stepped outside, shutting the door behind me. "You went to his party, Ezra. Not mine. I sent hand-delivered invites. I texted Mom 3 times. I made your favorite lemon tart, and it sat untouched for 5 hours." He looked down at the cake. "People got busy." "No," I said, soft but sharp. "People got lazy. They thought I'd always be the backup plan." I walked past him and threw the trash bag I'd been carrying into the dumpster. "Jules, come on. It's not that deep." But it was. It had always been deep. From the way Dad introduced me as the artsy one, to how Mom constantly compared my restaurant dream to Ezra's marketing job. They wanted me to stay small, so they wouldn't have to explain me. Ezra followed me back to the door. "I think Dad wants to invest now. He sees potential. He asked me to talk to you." There it was. The real reason. Not guilt. Not support. Just business. "Tell Dad the restaurant's fully funded," I said calmly. "And the investor bought exclusive rights to my loyalty." Ezra blinked. "What does that mean?" I smiled. "It means you're late. And I don't do leftovers." I walked back inside and locked the door behind me. On the other side, I could hear him breathing. And then walking away. The next day, I changed the locks. Not just at the restaurant, but at my apartment too. I'd spent years letting my family treat my space like a revolving door. "Jules, we need a place to crash. Can we store this here for a few weeks? Can I borrow your car just till Monday?" And every time, I'd said yes. Because saying no made me feel selfish. Because somewhere, deep down, I thought that being useful was the same as being loved. But love doesn't flake on your life's biggest moment. Love doesn't shrug off your invitations. Love shows up. So I made it official. A sign on the restaurant door read, "Dear customers, due to overwhelming support, we're transitioning to reservations only. No walk-ins accepted, even if we share DNA." By noon, it was on local foodie blogs. By evening, it went viral. The photo of me in my white apron, arms crossed, standing in front of that handwritten sign, it hit a nerve. Comments flooded in. "This woman is my hero. Boundaries taste better than betrayal. Tell Ezra to eat a slice of humble pie." Meanwhile, my phone buzzed nonstop. Mom called 5 times, left 1 voicemail. Juliet, this is childish. We're family. We made a mistake, but this public tantrum is making things worse. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened the front door to a couple holding hands, tourists from Georgia. We saw you online, the woman smiled. We canceled our other reservation just to eat here. As I led them to their table, I caught my reflection in the front window. I didn't look bitter. I didn't look angry. I looked free. And behind me, the restaurant buzzed with laughter, clinking forks, and second chances I chose, not ones I was forced to give. 2 days later, Dad showed up. Not at the restaurant. He wouldn't risk the cameras or another headline. He came to my apartment. Juliet, open the door, he said. Let's be adults about this. I watched him from the peephole. Suit jacket slightly wrinkled. Eyes tired. He looked like a man losing control of a story he'd written. I'll be brief, he added. Your mother's upset. Ezra's confused. We all are. I opened the door, but didn't step aside. You want to talk? Talk right here. He sighed. This is ridiculous. We're not enemies. No. You're just people who forgot I exist unless I'm footing the bill or cooking the meal. He flinched. I was going to help you, he said quietly. I was looking into some financing. You mean you wanted equity, I replied. Control. Dad's face hardened. Don't be paranoid. I pulled out the manila envelope that had been waiting on the console behind me. Here's the deed. The restaurant is solely in my name. The LLC, the patents, the recipes, all mine. He blinked. You got a lawyer? I got a team, I said. Funny what happens when you stop waiting for permission to shine. Dad looked down, then muttered. We just wanted you to succeed. No. You wanted me dependent. Manageable. He didn't respond. Before he left, he turned and said, This'll come back to bite you, Jules. You're burning bridges. I nodded, calm. Then I guess I'll learn to swim. I shut the door. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I needed their name to succeed. Because mine, Juliet Martin, was finally worth something. By that night, I had 12 new reservation requests. And 1 message from Ezra. They're planning something. Be careful. I didn't flinch. Let them plan. So was I. The first sign was a bad Yelp review. Then 2. Then 6. All within an hour. Each one eerily similar. Food was cold. Staff was rude. Owners stared at us like we didn't belong. Only problem? None of those names were in the reservation log. And we never had cold food. I knew what this was. Ezra's message echoed in my head. They're planning something. A smear campaign. 1-star warfare. The kind of digital vandalism that doesn't leave fingerprints, just poison. I didn't panic. I prepared. I called my lawyer. Then I reached out to one of my regulars, a journalist from a local paper who had once written a glowing piece titled, The Restaurant with a Soul. I think someone's targeting you, she said after reading the reviews. Want to go on record? I said yes. By morning, the article was out. Beneath the apron strings, how a rising star chef fought back against family sabotage. It wasn't revenge. It was truth. The piece included screenshots, dates, contradictions, even a quote from a staff member who said her dad came in last week and threatened to buy out her lease if she didn't come to her senses. By noon, the story had legs. Comments poured in again, this time from people defending me. Imagine being this threatened by your daughter's success. Families like this create warriors. She's not the black sheep, she's the phoenix. That night, a woman walked into the restaurant and whispered, They tried to break you. But I came here to tip you $1,000 just for standing up. I cried in the walk-in fridge. Not out of weakness, but relief. Because for once, I wasn't alone. The world had seen what they did. And they chose me. You said. The next move wasn't mine. It was Ezra's fiancée, Natalie. She showed up during closing hours, no reservation, just a fragile smile and a trembling phone in her hand. Can I talk to you? She asked. Please. Just a minute. I almost said no, but something in her eyes, guilt, maybe, held me still. She sat across from me in the last booth by the window, her hands wrapped tight around a coffee cup I hadn't poured yet. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I didn't know how far they were going." I stayed quiet. "They created a WhatsApp group. Your mom, Ezra, your Aunt Linda, even your cousin Mark. It was called Project Reset. The plan was to pressure you into selling the restaurant or force you to fail." I didn't flinch. I already knew. Natalie continued, her voice cracking. "Ezra said they were just trying to bring you back to reality. But after the article went viral, they turned on each other. Your mom blamed Ezra. Ezra blamed your dad. It's chaos now." I leaned back, watching her. "Why are you telling me this?" She looked ashamed. "Because they dragged me into it. And because I don't want to marry someone who treats his sister like that." She slid her phone across the table. Screenshots. Messages. Voice notes. Proof. I stared at them. Names. Dates. Plans. Natalie cleared her throat. "If you want to go public, you have my blessing." I didn't respond. Not yet. Because revenge wasn't about noise. It was about timing. And this wasn't about getting even. This was about getting free. I looked her in the eye. "Thank you," I said. "You just gave me everything I needed." And I meant it. Sometimes the last card you need comes from someone ready to leave the table, too. The headlines hit at 9:12 a.m. Chef Juliette Martin's family caught plotting to sabotage her career. Leaked messages confirm. I hadn't spoken to any press. I didn't need to. Natalie leaked the messages herself, posted them with a simple caption. "I won't be marrying into this family." It exploded. Screenshots from the Project Reset group chat painted the full picture. "She's too full of herself. Pull the plug on her supplier discount. Make her beg to come back." The public backlash was instant. Supporters of the restaurant flooded social media with hashtag #StandWithJuliette. People who had been silent before, old friends, high school classmates, even past coworkers, all spoke up. She was always the one carrying everyone. They used her until she had nothing left. "This is why she shines," she fought alone. By noon, my reservation list was booked out for 6 weeks. At 2 p.m., my landlord called. "Juliette, I'm extending your lease 5 years. Rent locked. You're the pride of this street." At 3:17 p.m., Ezra texted. "I didn't know Mom saved that stuff. I'm sorry." I didn't respond. I was prepping dinner service, folding napkins, tasting sauce, fixing a crooked picture on the wall. At 5 p.m., a woman walked in wearing a navy blazer and red lipstick. "I'm from the Food Chronicle," she said. "We're doing a feature. 10 chefs who survived the fire. You're our cover." I blinked. "Cover?" She smiled. "You're not just a chef. You're a revolution." That night, after the last dish was plated and the lights dimmed, I stood in the empty dining room, barefoot, wine glass in hand. The air wasn't heavy anymore. It was clean. And tomorrow, I'd start planning something even bigger. Because the best revenge wasn't survival. It was success, seasoned with silence. The invitation arrived exactly 1 year later. Gold foil, scripted lettering, sealed with a crest I knew too well. "You are cordially invited to Ezra and Marlene's engagement brunch." I laughed. The same family who once locked me out of celebrations was now asking me to join their curated photo op, likely hoping I'd post something positive to help their image. I placed the invite in the blender. Then I opened my laptop and finalized a deal I'd been negotiating for months. Juliette's Table, my second location. This one was in a historic brick building downtown. Exposed beams. Rooftop garden. A kitchen twice the size of the first. I'd hired my staff from overlooked places, culinary grads with no connections, single moms rebuilding, quiet dreamers who never got a chance. We built something sacred. Not just a restaurant, but a space where dignity was on the menu. As I stepped outside for the ribbon cutting, a crowd had gathered. The same journalist who'd written the first article was there, mic in hand. "What would you say to your family now?" she asked. I smiled, slow and soft. "Nothing." They'd asked for explanations, apologies, second chances. I gave them silence. because they never needed answers, they needed accountability. And I had nothing left to prove. Later that evening, I stood inside the new kitchen, apron dusted with flour, hands in dough. My staff buzzed behind me, laughter, chopping, the low hum of hope. Then came the moment that marked everything. A woman walked in, alone, nervous. "I saw your story," she said. "My daughter wants to be a chef. She's afraid she won't be good enough." I handed her a menu. "Tell her this." They said the same to me. And just like that, I closed the chapter they tried to write for me.